right, everybody. The Producers Podcast is back. I know everyone's been clamoring, Paul.
I'm beating down our door. I mean, it's amazing what's going on, but I'm excited about it.
It is exciting. It's episode 3.
Yep.
The first 2 have, well, they've been tweaked a bit in order to get us to the next level.
Exactly.
But I digress, because today we got a chock full podcast episode featuring some coronavirus updates, which of course we always have to get into.
Yeah, we've got to talk about that because what's going on in the world is pretty crazy with the masks and all that. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah. And then I'm throwing a little sports at you because
Okay.
Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chief Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Wait a minute, you're throwing sports at me?
I have
a guy like me. Do you see? You can't see my shirt, can you?
Well, stand
Let
up
me stand
a little bit.
up
What are you
just
wearing?
a little bit.
Stand
You
up.
want to take a guess what you think it is?
Well, it's yellow. So it's either, well, just stand up. I think I know what it is. Attaboy. Nice Lakers shirt. There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing my Puma golf shirt because everything else is in the laundry. But I got a little sports for you because my boy Patrick Mahomes, or he's not my boy, he's just the greatest young quarterback in the league, got paid big time this week. And I've got some stories to tell from the past few years. And then lastly, Paul, you will not believe it. An email has poured in from a listener.
And I have it.
See?
I have it.
I mean, how did we get emails? I have no idea, but
They track
we got
it down.
one.
They know.
We got one. So why don't you kick us off with this crazy coronavirus thing?
Well, first of all,
let's get the show going.
Let's all agree that it's the most disturbing thing ever that we cannot come together as a people to wear masks and understand and listen to the health advisors rather than any other rhetoric or information that's coming to us. Listen to the health advisors and what they're saying. Wear a mask in and out, stay 6 feet apart, do those things that are very simple. If you do that, what's going to happen? You're going to be in pretty good shape. And it's like we can't do it. We're at the beach. We're doing everything. We're crowded in bars. We're doing whatever we're not supposed to be doing because you know why? Because we're so selfish that we cannot, rein ourselves in for a little while. So
I agree. And I just don't understand why it's even an issue. In other words,
it shouldn't be.
Since the beginning of this whole thing, they've talked about it's kind of a projectile thing. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but you cough, you spit, stuff's come flying out of your mouth.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
Stop the projectile.
Right.
Both ways.
Well, they talk about, droplets, these droplets that can be hurled literally 60 feet on a sneeze, 100 feet. I mean, think about that,
Right.
Think about what's going on when somebody's talking to you. And even if they cough, they cough directly, you're supposed to cough into your elbow.
Right.
You're not supposed to lose
they
your
don't even
headset.
do that.
Yeah.
Well, look,
I'm losing my headset. There we go. But so because of that, it's got everybody thinking, I don't know what they're thinking. I think it was a mistake to tell people in the beginning that this was based on age, because it made everybody that's younger think, oh, I can just go out because, I don't have to worry about it. Now, the largest group that is susceptible and has the most are 18 to 49-year-olds. They're the ones now that are getting sick rather than the 50-plus crowd, that they're not getting sick as much. And
even though they might not get as sick, quote unquote, in other words, if you don't have a pre-existing condition, if you don't have, something that was in your, in your DNA already going,
right,
the chances of that age group getting really sick is limited. But I think the big problem is they're bringing it home to mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa.
Exactly.
And really, Paul, it can't be political. And I know everyone likes to politicize the mask wearing. That I don't get. Just wear the mask, wash your hands, and do the social distancing. You were telling me about a pretty good plan coming out of another country that I think I'd like to.
I think this is
get under the hood on this one.
This is there's 2 plans I've heard. I'll tell you the first one. Basically, it's actually a kid's book. It's pretty cute.
Okay.
And it's called, pretend that there's a bubble between every person you meet.
All
okay,
right.
you don't break the bubble. because that's easy for kids to understand.
Mhm.
So it's this bubble mentality of wherever you go, there's a bubble between you and the other person. That's easy for kids to understand. It should be easy for everybody to understand. The one I like better
Yeah.
is is out of Berlin in
Mhm.
Germany,
Mhm.
and it is basically don't wear deodorant, because if you're smelling, that's going to create a distance in itself. So this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing that they're doing in Berlin, but
Mhm.
I think we have a picture. Throw up the picture on the screen.
Yeah, check it out. You mean
And
this thing?
yeah, I mean that thing. Now take a look at that and
Right.
know that. Well, first of all, look at him putting that deodorant on. I mean, they're really
Right.
showing it
So
up there.
basically what you're saying is the Berlin, Germany people are recommending, in order to keep social distancing, stop wearing deodorant.
Right, and they're saying if you
That
do
is,
that, we've all been in a crowded elevator
oh,
and you smell something that doesn't smell right, and it's somebody that hasn't washed their shirt in weeks or
right.
showered or whatever it is. When that happens, you want one thing, you want to get out of there, right?
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I
that's
think
what this
I
is.
think that's absolutely genius,
Yeah, I do too.
to be honest.
I do too.
And to your point, I got the big honker,
Yeah.
so I'm very susceptible to smells.
Oh, you pick it up easily, like you're
Oh,
like
good
a
Lord.
basset
No,
hound.
honestly,
Right.
when you got this thing going, you're
Yeah.
going to pick up smells very easily. And believe me, it doesn't take much with the underarm deodorant problem to make me keep my social distance. So if
Yeah.
that's a good idea, and if it actually works, then those guys are ahead of the curve. But
So,
Paul,
yeah.
it
Yes.
really should be a no-brainer. And as the cases keep going up, and as hospitalizations keep going up, and as deaths, keep happening, I think it's time for everyone to man up, um, and just take the bull by the horns and wear the masks, do the social distancing, and maybe limit some of the partying. You see all these
Yeah.
people at the river, at the lakes, at the pools. Let's back that down. And of course, we couldn't do a coronavirus update without talking about the Karens,
Oh,
who have been going even worse than the last time we talked.
right.
Now there was a lady I saw at I think it was a Scottsdale, Arizona Kmart, and she was literally ripping off all the masks off the display, throwing them on the
I
ground.
didn't see that. Are you
Oh no, you
kidding?
got to see this one. It's classic. And of course, in there she's like, "Well, I hope I don't break my $40,000 Rolex while I take all these masks away." Lady, look, here's the problem with the Karens, and I guess the Richards, whoever they're calling the male versions of them. You got to stop. It's enough. It's becoming A, tiresome, B, vicious. There's been some really bad ones with including African American men or Asian women. So the long and the short of it is, let's stop the Karen videos by hook or by crook.
Boy, I couldn't agree more. And
Yeah.
it's crazy and it's unnecessary. And now all we've done, instead of flattening that curve, we've turned that around to where now, guess what they're talking about again? All the beds are down to a minimum in
Oh,
the ICU, and the hospitals are filling up, and it's going to be a mess again, and it doesn't need to be.
yeah. I'll tell you the guy I love, and then we can keep moving forward, is that Governor Cuomo from New York, who has been calling out everybody, including the president, to let's just get the mask thing. That should just be a box we just check off.
Absolutely.
Okay, mask check, no deodorant check, social distancing check. And,
no showering, no deodorant. No, I really don't want to go there. Hopefully, if people would just wear masks, we don't have to do the no deodorant and all that thing.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, well, let's hope the next time we talk, there's maybe a little break in the action on the social distancing, the use of masks.
Yep.
And then, of course, the elimination or the reduction of Karen videos. You got to stop, girls. You just got to stop.
Craziness abound. Speaking of craziness, let's talk about your favorite subject, Patrick Mahomes.
Let's do that. Real quick, though. He's Tall Paul Joseph. I'm Jack Silver. We're a couple of producers, and this is our producer podcast, episode 3.
Yep.
And Paul, Patrick Mahomes, who wowed everybody since he got to the NFL a few years ago, just won his Super Bowl, turned Kansas City upside down, and is really probably the brightest star in the NFL, got paid this week. And, I know it's kind of tough, and I'm sure he would even agree that while people are losing their jobs and getting, unemployment checks or, PPP money, to get $450 million contract extension. Right?
Right.
I mean,
400. Well, they say up to 503 million.
right. So the basics are 450 million for 10 years of an extension, including, I think, a couple of years that he already had in the books. He can make it to 503 million if he hits some certain incentives like Super Bowl wins or MVP wins, etc.
Now that doesn't include endorsements,
Oh no,
which
no,
can
Paul,
top
no.
another 200-300 million easily.
Oh, and he is doing great because he's so photogenic and so personable. And no, he is everything that embodies a great athlete and a superstar in his league. Now, for me, the reason I wanted to bring it up twofold. A, it's a hell of a story. Basically, $500 million on the table for a football player, assuming we're going to be playing football next year.
Well, who knows?
But what I wanted to share with you in the audience, Paul, and both of our listener, is the some experiences I had, because over the past 7 years working for NBC Sports, I got to go to Super Bowls, and 7 of them. And at the Radio Row, where they bring all the athletes and celebrities, you get to interview the guys. Not necessarily me, because I was producing, but the hosts and the talent. And so I got a chance to, the first one was we ran into Patrick Mahomes in Houston in 2017. He hadn't been drafted yet.
Yep.
You got
there
that
he
picture?
is.
Look at that. What I like about this picture is he's got the nice suit on. He's got the hanky.
See, that's how you dress right there. Yeah. Freeze it on that just for a second, because if you're going to dress, this guy has got style. He's already got the little thing. All he needs is an ascot. Do they still wear those?
Yeah. Well, again, real quick, his agent, Lee Steinberg, who just netted the guy $500 million contract, works with all of his players when they go out, because you're meeting the press, you're meeting with other team owners and team officials. So you want to look like that. My favorite part of that picture is the day pass, because basically he didn't he wasn't really on a team yet. He was just coming out of Texas Tech. He would go on to be drafted 10th by the Kansas City Chiefs. And
my God, you're right. They didn't even give him full all access.
No.
Look at that. They gave him a cheap day pass, which means they kick you out. You can't go backstage. Can't do any of that.
No, you just go you're basically there for 4 hours meeting the press. So that's the first shot.
That's funny. I mean, that's funny. That shows you how things turn around very quickly.
All right. So then the next year, which was Minneapolis in 2018, we ran into him again. And now by this time, you got that shot?
Oh, I got that. I can't see his pass.
By this time he got a full blown pass, because he was already with the he was backing up Alex Smith.
Okay.
The Chiefs, but it was just announced like that week that Alex Smith was traded, I think, to the Redskins, and that Patrick Mahomes would then be the starting quarterback for the Chiefs next season.
Right.
So, and you can tell now he's got the nice hanky. Now he's got the purple hanky.
Oh, now he's changing colors. That's a power color, by the way, purple.
Power color.
Yeah.
Good looking guy, and just, doing what he needed to do to get his name out there and promote himself.
Yeah.
Now, the third time we ran into him would have been in Atlanta in 2019, after I believe he won MVP. And this one, you're going to love this one, Paul. Oops. No. Which one are you seeing?
I'm seeing a page of him, and
on the Sirius
looks like
set?
he's got a sweatshirt on or something.
Oh, okay. Now hold on. Let me go back to that one.
I think you got the wrong one up here.
Oh,
it's a Twitter page.
Trying to do some producing.
I know.
Oh boy.
It's not a bad shot of him, though. He's got an NFL.
That was the one.
microphone.
That was the one from the Super Bowl. The one thing I want to show you, this one here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
So that's where he's on the Sirius XM set.
Oh, you can tell he's even though he doesn't have the money yet, you can tell he's all money there.
Oh, he's a money player from the get-go.
God. He looks relaxed. He looks stylish with that plaid jacket on, and he's got the little spinach chin working. I mean, he really looks good.
No, he's great. And that was when, by the way, he was on the wrap-up show with Baba Booey and John Hine. And I took my long lens and got it which I just think is just a great picture. And then, like I showed you, the last one was the one with him at the Super Bowl. So long and the short of it is, you know, these guys, you meet them, you're never sure who's going to make it. Because when we first met him, he hadn't even been drafted yet. And 4 years later, the guy's worth $500 million.
Well, and kind of the interesting story about that for me is, of course, he's an amazing player, and I think he deserves it. And obviously, I think it's the biggest contract in sports history since Mike Trout, which he had a huge deal too.
Right.
But the other side of that story, the agency with Lee Steinberg, who was basically out of the business, had been, as everybody knows or doesn't know, maybe the biggest sports agent of all time.
Yeah.
And then he had a lot of troubles. He got into alcohol. He did all these things. He got out of the business for a while.
Right.
And then he decided to make a comeback, this guy, and he's not a kid. He's like 70. And he made this comeback, and he got with a partner, and they wooed Patrick through his parents.
Yeah.
And within a couple of lunches, I read the story on it. I'm trying to remember the exact facts, but they took him to lunch a couple times. They met Patrick. Patrick was looking for a more boutique type agency rather than like a big, like a CAA
or right.
Any of that. So they landed this deal. So let's do the math quickly. Let's just say it's $500 million. What do they get? 15% of that?
I think agents get 10, or I've heard like 3, or whatever it is. Here's the point. It's a lot of money for the agency. And I'm glad you brought up Lee Steinberg, who's always been a great gentleman and very open to be on radio shows and be a guest.
Yeah.
And quietly, to your point, Paul, came back from an addiction issue, restarted his business in Newport Beach, and now is sitting on the biggest contract in NFL history. Yeah. It's one hell of a story for both parties, for both the Mahomes family, who, the dad played baseball, the son is now $500 million, and Lee Steinberg. And really, lastly, the best agents, Paul, seem to really direct the talent the right way.
Right.
To do business properly, to get your endorsements, get your business done, win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that helps.
Which helps.
But yeah, if you do it with personality and you take the machinery out of it and you really do hands-on, I think, boutique style agency, like Lee does, that makes a big difference. Yeah. That's really cool.
Can't disagree. All right, well, cool. Well, that's your sports, and again, what a hell of a story. I certainly hope that we get to see Patrick Mahomes and the whole NFL revved up this fall. But lastly, Paul, before we got to go,
I have it.
Okay. The email.
This is funny because from Candy, she's got down here. Her name is Candy Sue.
Candy Sue. All right. Yeah.
And she had some issues with you in particular, with starting with what's behind you. She wondered if maybe you had a young son, because it looks like you're in a kid's room.
All right. Well, all right. Candy Sue.
Which we both know you don't.
Well, no, the sons are not young, but no.
I mean, they're young, but they're not
10.
Little kids.
I agree. Well, she brings up an interesting story, even though I don't like her slamming me. So Candy Sue, shut your yapper, sister, for just a second, and let me give you some information. One of the things about the corona, everyone being indoors and doing these Zoom things and podcasts, is you're basically in either your office or your kitchen or whatever. Yeah. So there's been a whole big thing about what the background is of all these people doing their podcasts and their Zoom calls.
Right. Everybody looks behind you and
they're looking behind, the books you have on your shelf and everything like that. So, all right. So, honey, here's the deal. Those trinkets back there are my baseball collection. So I've got autographs of players, and I've got everyone from Willie Mays to Mickey Mantle to Sandy Koufax to current players, and like that. And then, of course, some other pictures are back there. Now, true, they're a little dated, like the one with me and Janet Jackson.
Yeah. I've got a Janet in here.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Well, we're going to get to yours in just a second. So
take your time.
I've got my Sopranos picture. That's cool. I've got somewhere up here, I've got the thing from the LAPD from 1987.
Okay.
I haven't gotten many things since the old days, Paul.
Most-
Not a lot of
The boom year
proclamations.
back in 1987, you got all your stuff.
Right. So basically, I do understand. And then lastly, the Back to the Future trilogy stuff. So yeah, I agree. It kind of looks like a little boy's room. But Paul, sometimes I think we're all just little boys. Now
Yeah. Yes.
you've got a globe, for example, in your
Well,
back.
I do have a globe.
Now, do you spend time
I
searching?
spin it. I like to, when I'm thinking, I just spin it with my hand.
Yeah.
I do this,
Yeah.
and it helps me think. And then every once in a while, I go like that, and I go, kids, that's where we're going to vacation.
All right. So because you don't see a lot of globes anymore. It's more like you just kind of go to MapQuest or something like that. But you find that globe useful.
It's soothing.
Super.
Jack, it soothes me. I do. I spin it. It's kind of fun. And I actually do that. We don't go to those places, but
Yeah.
I'll say, okay, where do you want to go? We spin it. We close our eyes. We hit it. We go,
Boom.
oh, we're going,
Ecuador.
wherever. Yeah, wherever it is. Wherever it happens to be.
All right, now, and if you move just a little bit over this way, go that way.
This way?
The other way.
Or the other way?
No, you physically move because I want to see. There's a book behind you.
Oh.
Is that the
you know
Tom
who that
Brady
is?
book?
That's my boy.
There's your boy Tom Brady.
Tom Brady right there.
So what other books are
And
back?
we look very similar, don't we?
Yeah, if I'm wearing beer goggles, you do. In real life, you don't look like Tom Brady.
Oh.
But no, that's cool because they also talk about, like, a lot of times on CNBC, for example, I watch the economic channel, whatever, it's not the economic channel, the stock market channel.
Yeah.
And they'll show all the different reporters now working from home.
Yeah.
And they all, these are supposed to be, they're supposed to be giving you advice how to make millions of dollars.
Right.
And their house looks like it's put together by IKEA
No, I know.
and Walmart. I mean,
I know.
why don't you burn some of your cash and buy some better stuff for your background?
You need some different stuff. So let me ask you a question. If you had, what's your favorite piece in that entire?
Well, it's probably the Willie Mays stuff because he's my favorite player. I know it's old school. He was so it probably would be this thing.
Yeah. Show us the one that's your favorite.
Yeah. So it'd probably be, this little ball. So you got the 68.
Oh, that is cool.
68 Willie Mays card, mint condition, and then the autographed baseball. So I got a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
That I've collected over the years. And, again, what am I ever going to do with it? Who knows? You're not going to sell it. Maybe you pass it on to the next generation. And of course, what'll happen, Paul, I'll pass on the Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Sandy Koufax stuff to my sons, and they'll go, who the F are these people?
Yeah. I say, why, Dad, why did you ever have this stuff?
Right. Can you throw that in the trash before? Right, so that's that. One, I think there was one, I got a deflection on an email that I think we were both CC'd on. And the question was, how about some guests?
Yeah.
Because I think they're bored of just Tall Paul and Jack Silver riffing for 30 minutes.
I would love to do guests. Let's do some guests.
Oh, are you cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I think we can book a few. I think there's, well, first of all, here's what I know.
Yeah.
Most people, as you know, Paul, if you ask them to be on a podcast,
yeah,
they go to the opening of an envelope.
Oh, they'll show up for anything.
Oh, it's easy breezy for this stuff. So
yeah.
I'll work on that. And then the only other one before we sign off is I got busted on my hair. Somebody wrote an email regarding, or a tweet or something regarding my hair.
What's wrong with your hair?
Well, they said, when you got your hair cut, did you get a lollipop and were you sitting on a toy horse? Which I think is absolutely rude.
That's a slam.
It's a slam. I mean, at least we still got a couple, both of us have our hair, which I think is good. And I feel like saying, look, I know it looks like I'm, again, back to the 10-year-old boy in his room, but at least we still got the locks that we can go with.
You got that hair there, and you've got, I don't know, did they use a bowl on it or did they not?
Well, no. Unfortunately, everyone, well, for me personally, my forehead is growing.
Yeah.
And the hair starts going back. So basically, and that's the bad part about this, because usually podcasts or radio shows, they don't see us.
Right.
So you had to do it as a vodcast, and people are seeing us. And I guess it's okay. And here's the bottom line. F all is, this is what you're going to get. And I can't do much
well,
about
it. If we're lucky and this keeps going, we can watch your hair recede year after year. It'll be fun.
Well, that'll be riveting. And we'll do our best. All right, big boy. You good with that then?
I'm good.
All right. Well, listen, Tall Paul Joseph, he's the greatest of all time. I've clawed and scratched my way to the middle.
Yes, you have.
And Jack Silver, we're signing off for episode 3, the Producer Podcast. We'll catch you next time.
See you next time.
You got it, bro.